Hello everyone, this is a recap of what we did in class today. So I'm using period 6 for the purpose of this video, but it is the same regardless of which class period you are in. The first thing you'll need to do is the PDN, because this is one that will be graded as a separate classwork assignment. It is an Edpuzzle that covers the conclusion, which is part 3 for us, of the Declaration of Independence. That is a relatively short, like 2-minute Edpuzzle. So if you click on the link in the agenda, it will take you directly to the assignment, and then you can click on the Edpuzzle link and complete it. After you've done that, what we spent the rest of class on was analyzing the Declaration of Independence. So now that you have heard or read or worked with in some form all 3 parts of the document, we are going to analyze it to see how it fits into the structure of an argument. So again, this link will take you to the classroom assignment, where you will see a copy of this doc that is for you specifically, so analyzing the Declaration of Independence. When you open that doc up, the first page of it gives you a refresher on the elements of an argument. So we did work with these last week when we were looking for the different parts of an argument in written examples and in the video clip from the movie Dead Poets Society. But because we only did that one day, I've included all of the information again on the top of this for you to look at. So these are elements that an argument needs to have to be considered complete and to be considered a good or thorough argument. The first is the hook, something that grabs the reader's attention, that convinces them to listen to this argument. The next piece is an arguable thesis. So they need to have a claim that is clearly stated somewhere in the introduction so that the reader knows what the writer is arguing. The next piece is concessions and rebuttals. This is where the writer recognizes the arguments made by the other side. So they might say that the other side has some good points, but ultimately that their own viewpoint is better, and they will tell you why. The next element is support. So in order to make an argument, you need to explain the reasoning behind that argument. Why are you making that argument? Support will give evidence for the writer's claim or thesis. The next part is the convincing conclusion. This is where the writer draws the argument to a close and restates that claim or thesis, and generally asks the audience, the reader in this case, to do something or take some kind of action. And then lastly, the audience. So who is the intended reader or listener to this particular argument? Sometimes it will actually say it in the text. Sometimes it is implied. In the case of the Declaration of Independence, it is directly stated in the text. So these 6 things are what we'll be looking for in the entire document. So I'm going to explain a couple of things that I did to help you make sense of this. First of all, I posted all of the text of the introduction, of the center part that we did together on a collaborative doc, and then of the conclusion, which you did an Edpuzzle, so that you can see all of them next to each other as one big document. The next thing that I did was on the heading of each chunk, I gave you what elements of an argument can be found in that chunk. So in this first chunk, which is the first and second paragraphs here, you will find the hook, the arguable thesis, concessions and rebuttals, and audience. So what you want to do is decide where you think the hook is, highlight it, and then color it red to match this highlighting. Then you're going to find the arguable thesis, highlight it in orange. I have given you an example. I found the concessions and rebuttals for you here and highlighted them in yellow. And then you will need to find audience and highlight it in purple. Once you've done that, you can move on to the next chunk, and you'll see here chunk 2 tells you to look in this chunk for support. So you will be highlighting in green wherever you think you see support in this section. Remember, you only need one example of support. So there could be 20 different reasons, right, given by the writer to support the argument. You just need to pick one of them. And then lastly, when you get to chunk 3, it says look in this chunk for the convincing conclusion. So you need to find what you consider to be the convincing conclusion and highlight it in blue. Once you have found all of your different elements, you're just going to copy and paste them into this chart so you can see them next to each other. So you'll copy and paste the sentence that has the audience in it, sentence of a hook, sentence of thesis. I have already copied down the concessions and rebuttals because, like I said, I did that one for you as an example. Then you'll copy and paste your support and your convincing conclusion. So once you have everything highlighted in the document and then copied and pasted into this chart, you will turn it in, and then you are good to go.